Let us talk about what happened in Delhi. There was stampede at the railway station.
Sir,
How can such stampede be avoided? And what happened actually, and how can such stampede be avoided?
There was a meeting held between Mr. Trump and Mr. Zelensky.
sir.
What was the purpose of this meeting? And what was the outcome of this meeting? How was the conduct of the meeting?
Recently,
Sir,
China and Bhutan, they have been trying to solve some border problem. Why should it be a matter of concern for India?
There is an economist, Vibhor Bhardwaj.
sir,
Does he write on Indian Railways also?
sir.
Have you?
Sir,
What is his recommendations?
may I come in, sir?
Come in, we both.
Good afternoon, sir.
Have a seat.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Tell us about yourself.
Sir, I am Vibhor Bhardwaj. I am from Bulandshahr, Uttar Pradesh, where there is Atomic Power Center at Narora. And I have done my graduation in physics from Hansraj College, Delhi University, and from the same college I have done my masters also. Presently, I am serving in Indian Railway Management Service.
Some two more sentences about yourself.
Sir, I like playing guitar in my free time, as well as I do ecological gardening, as I've mentioned also. And yes, sir.
Okay.
What are tangible benefits that have flowed from the hosting of Mahakumbh 2025?
So there are many benefits. First and foremost is it will boost the economy of the Uttar Pradesh. Second, it promotes the people-to-people connect and cultural exchanges. Third, it also promotes the fraternity throughout the country, because not only the people from the country as well as from throughout the world, people are also visiting Kumbh. So cultural relations are also getting exchanged there.
Let us talk about what happened in Delhi. There was stampede at the railway station.
Sir,
How can such stampede be avoided? And what happened actually, and how can such stampede be avoided?
Sir, there was one confusion because there were 3 trains which were scheduled to take pilgrims to the Prayagraj, and there was one announcement related to special train which was going to Prayagraj, and because of that, it created some confusion among the passengers, and 2 trains were delayed also. To control such a stampede situation in future, we can have a better crowd management, starting from the lower level itself, not just from the uppermost level, but the people who are at the ground level, for example, RPF personnel there, as well as personnel of Indian Railway services. So they can be better equipped to deal with the crowd. And also, I think, sir, the most important thing what we can do is that we can limit, when we see that 2 trains are getting delayed, we can limit the number of passengers on the platform itself. That we should restrict that now the platform is getting crowded. So we can do that thing also.
There was a controversy. In fact, it is said that the number of tickets that were shelled out by the railway, from the railway tickets, the unreserved tickets,
Yes, sir.
exceeded much more than the capacity of the trains.
Sir.
How do you explain this?
Sir, there was lack of coordination, I would say, because the person who was issuing the tickets, unreserved tickets, definitely it is said that number exceeded the desired, the ticket which would have been sold, it exceeded, but I think it lacked coordination. We should have stopped earlier also, but as I said, that it was also due to the 2 trains were delayed, sir. So passengers from those 2 trains were also at the platform, which created that chaos, sir.
Tell me about the financial aspect of traveling by Vande Bharat. They say the trains are going half empty. And if that be so, then how do you see to it that it's totally occupied? Because see, ultimately what happens, whether it's a train or it's a flight, the costing depends upon the number of seats that you are able to sell, because the moment that the train leaves or the flight leaves, it's all gone.
So Vande Bharat is an innovation of Indian Railways to provide better amenities to the passengers. We see that initially there was apprehension that because of the high costing of the tickets, a little bit high costing of the tickets comparatively to the other trains, there might be some challenges in occupancy of the trains, but gradually as passengers are also moving towards better amenities, so I think this problem will be solved in the future. And as I can see, I was booking train in Vande Bharat also, so there was a waiting list of almost 20, 30 whenever I booked that, sir. So this problem is also getting solved.
I'll give a counter argument. Only 3 days back I traveled by Vande Bharat. Everything was regrets.
Sir.
The window closed.
Sir.
I tried to book it. When I went to train, the train was half empty. So where is the problem basically?
Sir,
The same problem was the Air India also at some stage. They could never sell tickets.
Sir, what I can think of right now is
Just
that,
think as a railway officer, where are we going wrong?
sir, if the ticket, the site is showing regret, then that means that tickets are sold already. That is why it is showing regret as far as, sir, I know.
But when I stepped into train, it was half empty. So
Sir,
where's the problem?
sir, there might be that people are not cancelling the tickets at the moment they should have cancelled.
I think there's some
So I
other.
will read upon it, sir.
Anyhow. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So you play guitar.
Sir,
How fond? Are you very fond of it, or you play occasionally?
sir, I play occasionally. I'm an amateur level, I can say, sir.
Sorry.
I'm at amateur level, sir, right now.
So what is your grade? You know there are different grades. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3.
Sir, I'm not aware of this.
Okay. Right. It's only for your pleasure that you play, not in any team or something.
No, sir, it is, I picked it as a hobby in my graduation. So I gradually developed it because of my, I was influenced by my friend. I liked it. So I picked it up, sir.
So what all can you play with that?
I'm sorry, sir.
Numbers. What kind of music you can play?
Sir, I play eclectic style. That is the blend of multiple styles. For example, finger picking, strumming, and also the drumming of the guitar. I blend both, blend all these techniques, and then I play, sir.
But you're not part of any team,
So right now,
not
I'm
in any group or something. Nothing.
Sir, in my training, there are 2 or 3 my colleagues who play guitar, so I am trying to be bonding with them. In future, sir, I will definitely be associated.
Okay. There was a meeting held between Mr. Trump and Mr. Zelensky.
Sir,
What was the purpose of this meeting, and what was the outcome of this meeting? How was the conduct of the meeting?
sir, the meeting's purpose was to finalize or to discuss the terms of the USA trying to achieve some deliberations on acquiring the mineral rights in the Ukraine.
So mineral deal is one.
Sorry?
Mineral deal.
Mineral deal was one, and on the Ukraine side, Ukraine was trying to seek help from US in regard to its support against war against Russia. And the meeting was, sir, the media was present there. It was open meeting, and in that meeting there were some talks. So there were some fight broke up. No, I would not say that it was fight, but there were some heated arguments exchanged between the president of Ukraine and the president of United States, and as well as the vice president also. And the outcome of the meeting, sir, I am not aware of it.
What was the trigger point where the argument began and it turned little ugly?
Sir, the president of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky, when Mr. Trump said that we are going to have a deal with the Russia, and we are going to have some deliberation or negotiation with Russia, or diplomatic point of view he was mentioning, then Zelensky had an argument that you are going soft on Russia. That it is you are not doing as much to favor Ukraine as much you are doing to Russia. The point was like this, and
Not a balanced approach.
it is not a balanced approach, and you are going softer on Russia, sir. This was the argument.
And before that, there were 2 countries which had gone and who had gone and met Trump, Mr. Trump,
Sir,
to tell him that he should also take care of Ukraine and not lose ties with him.
sir.
Which were these 2 countries?
Sir, recently the Prime Minister of UK went, and also French President Emmanuel Macron also went.
Okay. So not to abandon Ukraine, basically that was the aim.
So that was the aim, not to abandon Ukraine, as well as so because it is seeing that US is negotiating with Russia directly, and they are trying to say that the Europe should be also in picture, as well as Ukraine should be also a part of the deal.
What will be how the relation between Ukraine and US will be impacted by this episode which has happened?
Sir, looking at this episode, sir, definitely it is not something which should come out in public, and definitely it is showing that the US's stance toward Ukraine is not that favorable, which was during Biden administration, and it is very critical of Ukraine. And I read that Mr. Trump also called him a dictator and also an instigator towards World War III also. So these kind of comments are not taken well, sir, in the global
So
community.
do you think somewhere that US is prioritizing its interest over Ukraine's interest?
Sir, in the words of President of the USA, he is saying that he is toward the peace side and he wants no bloodshed further. But sir, I think the USA is somewhere acting in its own interest also. I can cite some examples. The US is trying to acquire some mineral rights in the Ukraine, and also
Prioritizing
in a way, sir,
prioritizing his interest.
in a way, sir, yes, definitely, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Then tell me something about Spic Macay.
So, Spic Macay is a society which promotes music. Per se, specifically, it is in the classical music. It promotes classical music, and there are many classical singers and musicians associated with it.
So how did it begin? What is the history of Spic Macay?
Sir, it was, if I'm not wrong, sir, it was started by a professor of IIT Kharagpur, sir, if I'm not wrong, sir.
Now, who would you consider closest neighbor of India?
Sir, I will name Bhutan in this.
Bhutan. All right. Now, tell me about the connectivity between India and Bhutan, rail connectivity.
Sir, we have rail connectivity from West Bengal or Assam to Bhutan. Sir, I am not able to recall the station.
Is there any project being planned,
Yes, sir.
being implemented?
The project is in pipeline, and if I'm not wrong, it is connecting to the Galepu city of Bhutan.
From where to where does it go?
The station in Bhutan is Galepu, and in India, sir, I'm not able to recall at the moment.
So there is only one railway project, or there is another one?
There are others also, sir.
You are not aware.
Sir, I'm unable to recall. I have read.
So tell me, why is Bhutan important to India?
So, multiple reasons are there for this. First is that Bhutan has been a trustworthy and reliable partner since our independence. Second thing is that it is acting as a buffer at a place which is very critical and important for India, that is called Siliguri Corridor and Chicken Neck, which connects mainland India to the northeastern part, which is the only land part that is connecting us to our northeastern part. Third thing is that Bhutan has done very good progress in environmental sustainability, and the fourth is that it also acts as a buffer between India and China, and strategically it has not adopted the Belt and Road Initiative of China. And
Okay, tell me, recently
sir,
China and Bhutan, they have been trying to solve some border problems. Why should it be a matter of concern for India?
sir, as I mentioned that we have a Siliguri corridor there, and on the Bhutan side there is a Doklam place which was in conflict in 2017, which China was trying to transgress to Doklam, and as I said that it is acting as a buffer between India and China, so it strategically placed the position of
So what is this border they're trying to exchange certain location. Are you aware of that?
Sir, there are 3 locations in the northern part of Bhutan, which China is saying that we will leave our claim to those 3 locations if you give Doklam to us. Now, because Doklam is sitting near India border.
Have you heard of Sakpeng Park, Wildlife Park in Bhutan?
Sorry, sir.
No. Okay. Last question I will ask you. Demographic dividend, we have the potential today,
Sir.
but maybe 40 years by 2050, it will start declining. We will reach a stage similar to China.
Sir.
Population will age. So, what makes you hopeful that we can still take advantage of this demographic dividend, even when our population starts aging? You understood the question?
Sir, I understood. Sir, I think it is our vast population. While we will be in the declining phase 40-30 years from
Our
now.
population will age, and by 2050, we will also have a relatively high
Yes.
aged population. So, this demographic dividend will be absent.
Sir.
But still, we have something to be very hopeful about. What is that? Acha, you don't know. Chalo. Okay, last question. You tell me, Railway is increasing its budget but reducing the budget for passenger amenities. What was the budget this time for passenger amenities?
Sir, the total budget, which was gross budgetary support which Indian government provides is provided this year is around 2.55 lakh crores.
No.
And
Just for budget.
passenger amenities per se.
Why is it going down? Is there any reason? Give me just a broad idea. Why it's being reduced?
Because we are increasing capital expenditure, we are doubling line, we are increasing our electrification, and
So that is not a focus area. It should not be a focus
passenger
area.
amenities should be our priority.
So the priority is wrong.
Because we are the customers are our customers are which generate our revenue also, sir.
Okay, thank you.
What are other railways reforms which have been taken up, and what is the plan, say, in next 3 to 5 years?
So which have been taken up,
Railways reforms, yeah,
sir.
already taken up.
Sir, so there are few very important reforms. First is that we are trying to decongest our already highly utilized railway lines by we have commissioned 2 dedicated freight corridors, eastern dedicated freight corridor and western one. And also we are having other 3 or 4 dedicated freight corridors as well as economic corridors in pipeline. Next is we are targeting that we will be achieving 3,000 million metric ton by 2030, and for that the reforms are already taking place. We are inviting private sectors to develop good sheds.
There is an economist, Vibhor Bhardwaj.
Sir,
Does he write on Indian Railways also?
sir,
Have you?
sir,
What is his recommendations?
Sir, his recommendations were that we should corporatize railway. There was a committee of which he was the chairperson. So he gave many recommendations. The important ones were that the railway should focus on the core work of railway, that is transport sector, and we should disinvest, or we should privatize from the sectors which we are not in core in. For example, health sector, we have railway hospitals, and education sector, railway schools. So these are not the priority of railway. We should focus on the transportation. And second most important recommendation was that we should bring harmony to the services which are in railway, 8 services, and we should merge few services. He gave 2 recommendations for it. One was that we should merge technical services together and non-tech services together, so that it will reduce the silos which is creating hurdles in railway reforms.
But if you see health and education and all, these are very small peanuts
Sir.
in the total railway activities. That may not make much impact, no? Or will it?
So I think a good amount of force is, the workforce is in
There is a railway medical service, I think.
Indian Railway Medical Service.
And there is education, I am not aware, but So, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You said economic corridors.
Economic
those corridors.
Sir, in the last year's budget, the Honorable Finance Minister described that we will be developing 3 economic corridors. One will be cement. There were 3 commodities mentioned in first corridor: cement and 2 other words there. Coal, yes, sir. And second was the line which is connecting our ports, related to that port corridor. And third corridor was also there, sir. I'm not able to recall the name.
Now, about physics, just explain the Bohr model. The first one that was recommended by Bohr, Niels Bohr.
So Niels Bohr model was the atomic model, which was to describe the location and movement of electrons within the atom. It said that electrons do not revolve in continuous orbits, but they are revolving around the nucleus in well-defined orbits, which have the angular momentum in multiples of h cut. That is the Planck constant.
And what happens when there is an energy incident on that?
So if an electron is provided with the energy, then it jumps from one lower orbit to the higher orbit by absorbing that energy. And then for it remains there for around 10 to the power minus 8 seconds, and then it jumps back to the lower orbit by emitting a radiation or a photon.
Does it come back to the same orbit from where it has gone, or can it go to other orbits also?
So it depends upon the energy it has absorbed. So if it has absorbed the energy for, let's say, first to third orbit, then it may come to the second orbit as well as then the first orbit. It is called de-excitation, and accordingly the radiation of particular wavelength will be emitted in that process.
There is something called God particle.
Sir,
what are those and why God?
Sir, God particle is Higgs boson, and it was discovered in CERN laboratory. It is called God's particle because it has some interesting story behind it. That
no, it's okay. Tell us in brief.
Sir, it was called goddamn particle at that time, but the publisher was not allowing the author to use that word, so he used God particle for it. And we can also say this, that it was very difficult to detect. That is why he said it, that it is a God particle.
And what is its property?
Sir, it interacts with the Higgs field and provides masses to the subatomic particles, for example, protons, neutrons. So basically it is
it is the mass provider to all the fundamental particles.
Not all the fundamental particles, sir. Leptons are not there, and also it does not provide to leptons, and other particles are also there.
There are some more.
Some more.
Okay. So we conclude your interview, Vibhor,
sir,
and we will give you our assessment. You have a pleasant personality. You are already working in a service, and an important one, and that your response to most of the questions are good. But you never know what sort of questions may appear on the board. So we will explain to you how to prepare even for this year. One is your DAF, what importance is it given, and second is the current affairs. Now, from each of them, you prepare certain subjects, topics, and make brief notes. Of course, when you make brief notes, it doesn't mean that you should overlook the detailed background. So you go through the detailed background and then summarize it. Make in the form of bullet points. You have been preparing for a number of years, so you have a background and you have some topics which you have already prepared.
sir.
now make this list and then bullet points, go through them again and again. Some things with which you are very thorough, some new things are coming up and you have to be equally thorough with that. That's all.
I don't have much to say, but I did expect that you'll be able to give much, answers with much depth when you're talking in terms of railways, because you're already an officer in the Indian Railways. Sir had asked you especially about the committee, the Vibhor Bhardwaj committee, and you should have named the committee at least. Although you gave some recommendations, there's a committee on this restructuring railways basically. Vibhor Bhardwaj.
Sir,
The committee on restructuring of the railways.
Restructuring.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the name of the committee. And it has made what we call great recommendations.
Yes, sir.
There's some that you've already mentioned. It also set aside all the previous recommendations done by all other committees.
Sir.
And essentially that the core areas have to be looked into. And he had not only that, he also had recommendation for the RPF also. He said we don't need an RPF, it should be that the security be given.
That's how the cutting off will be substantial.
Yes. And the rest leave it to the government, Obviously, perhaps the railways may not know it. But the one area where he focused upon, and that is need to understood. See, the problem with the Indian Railways, because I'm anticipating that they may be asking you a lot of questions, Railways is still in the days of the British Raj, and they don't want what interventions from outside. That is the basic problem. And every department fights like anything with the other department,
Slowly.
And it's not only silo. Silo is one thing. Okay, मैं अपना काम कर रहा, तुम अपना काम कर रहे हो. They believe in what you call departmentalism. उसका टांग खींचो, उसका टांग खींचो. And it has been so beautifully. If you see the recommend, Vibhor Bhardwaj was an outstanding intellectual, and he could get to the pores of this issue. So try to understand that. Get back into just read about Vibhor Bhardwaj also, his background, and then apart from that, this report is very, very interesting.
Sir.
Now I asked you some question about the benefits of. Let's first finish the railways. The railway tickets booking. I think you should have been able to explain as to why the tickets are not getting booked. I think we still, apart from what the Chris is doing, we need a much better software. I asked you benefits of Mahakumbh. And benefit of Mahakumbh, I thought you'll be giving a much structure. We just tried to ramble off,
It was the first question, and I was
And see, I asked you for different reasons because you are from the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Sir.
Had you not been from the state of Uttar Pradesh, perhaps I could have also. There are the reasons why I asked you certain questions.
And I also.
Why some railways also. And then, of course, we asked about the stampede also. And prominently this is exactly what the RPF has also said. Although we thought that such reports of a classified nature are not leaked out. But ultimately, the number of tickets that are booked was of very high order.
Sir.
And the reason of stampede was totally different, because once you change the platform, and all of a sudden there's a big crowd and they start running.
I think the platform was not changed, and.
So I would rather like you to appreciate. I may not be aware of the gory details, in fact, but we all read something. We also try to read between the lines. There are two aspects.
Sir.
All of a sudden, how can the report of RP be leaked? I mean, that is a matter of concern.
Yes, sir.
The railway said, okay, all the departments that are linked to it should give their own report. Doesn't the reports become classified? And even before the report has been finalized, there's a big, there's a big headlines in the newspaper. The RPF says this is the report. So ultimately, the issue is totally different. You do not want to come up with what you call an honest report. So everybody fears that I could will be what you call pinned down. So let us put it in the public domain.
So
Try to appreciate that.
So
As an officer of the Indian Railways. Now, apart from this, being a student of physics, etc., a lot of questions. The sir has already asked you certain questions, and
Okay. When you come in, you must wish only the chair and nod at the others.
sorry, sir.
You must wish the chair, not everybody separately.
Okay, sir.
You wished everybody.
Yes, sir.
नहीं करना.
Okay.
Only wishing. Okay. eye contact. So as already pointed out, the person you are speaking to, look at him only and don't look at other people.
Not others, sir.
No. There are some institutions may have told you, but then which is more comfortable, looking at the person and speaking or looking like this?
Sir, the argument they're presenting is that this is not a questionnaire.
Huh?
This is not a questionnaire, and other members will feel left out and they will not.
You are wanting to engage others, or the other want to remain engaged with you.
Sir,
But which is natural?
so naturally, is the one person who is talking to you, you must.
That's a natural thing.
Sir.
I leave it to you, your choice.
Sir,
But this is what we advise you.
thank you, sir.
Sir will further emphasize on this.
Sir,
Hello? Okay, threads are very prominent. इनको hide करिए.
yes, sir.
And you got to speak a little louder.
Okay, sir.
Little louder.
Sir,
Otherwise, good. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
If you have any questions, let us know.
Yes, sir. I have one. This is my third interview. In first attempt, I got selected. In second
This is your
attempt,
first interview. How many?
third interview, sir.
He got in the first attempt, sir.
First attempt.
Yes, sir.
This is your third interview.
Third interview, and
And, how
second
many-
attempt,
Ah,
I got 800 in mains and 135 in interview.
135.
So that is what is
And first attempt, how many got?
160, sir.
160. So there was an improvement. Fine.
Yes, sir. It went the other way around, sir.
Remember the candidate, yes, 160 to 135.
But I think he would have got too complacent also.
Sir, I was not complacent. I prepared for 5 months rigorously, sir.
Oh.
Too much.
So was it that he made over preparation also?
Over preparation, I can say, sir, because I was not prepared.
Professor will suggest on this.
I think, you are speaking very fast. Okay. So sometime what happens is that you are unable to bring out the key points. Many of the questions, at least I felt that way. Whenever you ask question, you always have 4 or 5 points for everything.
Sir,
So what you do is that one, you are wasting the time of the board also by giving unnecessary, not important. Just give 2 points.
crisp points towards.
Yeah. So that you get more questions, you are able to show yourself up. I think probably what has happened is that you are so well prepared. So they ask you something and you give 5 points in that. So you are just getting 4 or 5 questions, important questions on which you get.
And depth analysis or not.
That is, I think, one issue.
This should be the most important.
Yes.
Yes.
Priority wise.
Yes. The most important points you give, no? So otherwise, I asked you several questions in which you always had 4 or 5 points. So be careful on that. I thought that is.
Understood, sir.
And just be thorough on railways and the related issues. On that there is no escape. They will expect you to be, and you have worked for 2 years. So
No, sir, I have not worked. I have joined 2 months back, sir. In December only, last year.
only December.
Yes, sir. I am under probation.
Probationer.
Yes, sir. I took 1 year EOL, then I gave.
You already extraordinary leave you took.
Yes, sir. I took.
Appearing in the IAS.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. No, it does give that impression anyway, but doesn't matter. So even for 2 months, the expectation will be the same.
Ji.
Expectation will be high. About railways, there is no escape.
When we were talking in terms of the reforms in Indian railways, I think the civil service reforms will also become very important case.
Yes.
And one reason why, we cannot be very prescriptive as to why you got less marks in the second attempt. But I essentially feel that perhaps sometimes you go back to the drawing board. You go back to the basics, because that is what Sir has commented on your performance, that you have got so much that you want to blurt out so much. But then it has to be a graded response. The more important issue will have to come first, and it has to be sharp also. So perhaps we would suggest, if you would like to emulate what we'd like to tell you,
Sir.
that on important issues concerning draft and on important current issue, including the railways and reforms, etc., including different missions of the government of India, into economy, etc., you prepare written notes, bulleted answers, so that you don't get stuck in the maze of information that you have with you.
Definitely.
We have one more tendency.
Sir.
You answer the answer you want to give. If I'm asking as a railway person, why are the budget for the amenities going down, passenger amenities? You started giving me the budget figures and on your own. So you're not answering the real question.
See, one thing you have to keep it in mind is to read the questioner's mind. Why he has raised this question?
Sir.
Maybe passenger amenities are deteriorating. And maybe it is because of the budget being cut short. So also I would add things like semiconductor chips. See, these are contemporary issues. Then AI, DeepSeek versus ChatGPT, how we can take advantage. The conference in Paris, and China versus US rivalry on many subjects, including chips.
Sir.
And now the EU again, the president has mentioned semiconductor chips in her address yesterday. So there's AI, and you see, generally the expansionist approach of China, of which we too are victim.
Definitely.
So that you have to understand and then formulate. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.